direct democracy is about ultimately getting the people to act as one voice in some manner. And the best way to do that is through the internet, whether we have to filter it through current systems or not. You know, right now, QED that you know about that I'm working on has as a part of its strategic aspect the idea of, you know, working within the current system. And so, you know, knowing that our only access is really to Congress and the presidency, you know, the court being a function of the presidency, essentially. The question is how to participate in our own government. Because right now, as Michael Warnken would tell you, it's something like 400,000 to 1. It's some crazy number of representation that we have right now in Congress. It's just it's insanity. So how could that possibly be representation? You know, that's absurdity. So the idea is to filter our voice through, in my mind, those positions, because they're given within our system at the moment, in a way that accurately reflects those 400,000 as best as possible. And so, you know, that's a practical approach to direct democracy, I guess you would say, within the American system. Otherwise, having online debating forums that are streamlined to lead to opinions, you know, to actual polls, votes, where we end the discussion with an understanding of how we feel as a distributed collective about a particular issue in an accurate, trustable way that's not molded for us by the mainstream media, you know, et cetera. You know, it's a useful tool for us to get together on any issue, whether it's local, national, or whatever, you know, or just for our own natural use. You know, it's just, it's a flexible tool, potentially, if you can streamline some software tool to aid in that process. And I think Facebook has done not the worst job of it. I mean, those of us who know how to use it well and who group up naturally with people we like to have discussions with and who find the rules acceptable, you know, in some sense about how we discourse, we get a lot of work done. And so it's not the answer, but it's certainly another indicator. It's another proof. And then on the other side of this, you know, obviously, I'm sorry to talk, you know, feel free to interrupt me at any time. I'm just rambling on this. The other issue is inclusion. And you know, one thing I can certainly attest to is that there are very few of us who actually have the time, want to take the time, are willing, are able, have done the work to actually debate at detailed level these issues and then present some set of, you know, reasonable opinions for other people who don't have the time to do that kind of work to make a judgment. And so the whole idea of having a slate of opinions that you can then choose for yourself as a voter and say, well, this one sounds like my instinct about this. I'd like to know a little further maybe than this one-sentence description. So let me see the paragraph description. Okay, I even want a little more. Why don't you give me the one-page description? No, now I want to see the whole debate. You know, so having that staged level of information for someone who wants to make their judgment available is clearly an advantage for the voters. And anybody who's watched an idiot show like American Idol, where, you know, everybody's voting, 25 million people vote, you know, on who's going to win. You know, I don't remember that. I haven't watched, you know, looked at it for many years, but obviously, the American people like to vote. That's not the issue.
More people vote on American Idol than they do for president, I heard.
Right. Okay. So they like to do it. Would be glad to do it on a daily basis. I'm sure they love to. They do it on Facebook. Little polls. Sure. You know. So getting them included is the point. You know, having a way to translate it for them, that democracy, you know, for them is a very important part of the challenge for those who are maybe a little bit more focused on the details than they have to be because they're focused elsewhere. You can also have people debating the actual architecture itself on an ongoing basis. Totally. And so improvements on a natural constant basis, you know, as it goes. But definitely, you know, the tool itself as a debating, resolving, and that analytical tool can be applied at any level for any purpose. And especially QED, which for those who are listening might not know, stands for Quorum E-Democracy, where the idea is this, nested tree of debate groups, basically, that then filter back up their decision debates to the voting level. So somebody puts a proposal, people start to dive, and they start to find their commonalities and diversities and break off and debate and resolve and compromise, and each level kind of rising up with their own little slate to join other slates and coming up to the top and, compromising as they go and merging as they go, and then disappearing except as data for history. It's not, you don't permanently stay in that node. You're just there debating the issue, and then it goes away. That makes it different from like a Facebook group. It's like a post. It's like a post buried in a thread.
So you've already done a lot of thought on this and how different structures could be made to.
Oh God, yeah, and security too.
Runoff voting system as well. Yeah, that's
essential. I have to give credit to Bram Kiewit for introducing that. Instant runoff voting with none of the above, which is what I like to add. Is an essential way to show what the group believes and to divide their opinion accurately. Meaning, there's no, people confuse democracy with majority rule. They have nothing to do with each other. Majority rule is a completely, bizarre idea comparatively in some ways. But it's the way it's been done, and it's a dangerous way, as we see. But IRV says, no, so many think this, so many think this, so many think this, so many think this. That can come down to actual government if you say, well, we seem to want to have some common goals. This guy's got this idea, I'm willing to put some money into that. This guy's got this idea, I'm willing to put some money into that. And then you vote with your dollars, and then you see how it breaks out. And then, the country has decided as a group, well, we're funding this much, this idea this much, this idea this much. So you don't need to be black and white. It can, you can distribute opinion and get what you want. And then you can change it later if you don't like the results. So, the idea is to let the best people who know the most about a subject voice in naturally as they come up, and let everyone else benefit from their expertise in a naturally debated way, and to whatever level of detail they want to know, based on the record of the debate that led to that slate, and make decisions, whether it's for your local school board or whether it's for national defense. It doesn't matter. It's a tool. And you can look at government.
Yeah. Well, what kind of resources or time do you feel it would take to develop this?
Nothing. This is basically a very simple, especially if you throw out all the garbage, that comes with something like a Facebook. This is a very simple branching tree, quorum, text debating thing. I mean, attaching files and all these bells, and these are all things. I mean, I used to design supercomputers, so believe me, for me, this is nothing. This is like you get a couple hotshots programmers together. In 6 months, you've got whiz bang QED.